The next selection is Maine's Black Future, conceptualized and created by Genius Black for the Maine Monitor.
Black Future.
My name is Genius Black.
My name is Junes Thete, aka Junes Dream Seller.
And you are listening to Maine's Black Future. More from Junes and Genius in a moment. Now, a story from Maine's unique Black history. Pedro Tovookan Parris came to Portland, Maine in 1846 to take part in a trial related to the illegal slave trade. At the trial, he meets and ends up living with and working for the family of U.S. Marshal Virgil D. Parris in Paris, Maine. Pedro was an East African boy learning to read, write, speak publicly, and create visual art. He was quite talented and well-loved. All this occurred after he stood up for himself and created his own freedom in America. How? Well, in 1833, Pedro Tovookan Parris was born in Mozambique. When he was 10, during a war, he was taken from his family by a neighboring nation. Later, he was sold into Portuguese enslavement and transported from Africa, arriving in Rio De Janeiro in 1846. 1. Note that transoceanic slave commerce was abolished by 1808, and by 1820, the insidious practice was considered piracy, punishable by hanging. 2. Even when caught participating in the illegal slave trade, enslavers were usually acquitted or treated gently. Back to Pedro, who arrived in Rio de Janeiro aboard the American brig Porpoise, captained by Cyrus Libby of Scarborough, Maine, and owned by George F. Richardson of Brunswick. Built in Brunswick, the Porpoise was an example of Maine's tradition of building ships that were quick and reliable on the water. Thankfully, Captain Libby was arrested by George W. Gordon, American consul to Rio de Janeiro, who seized the Porpoise and took custody of 3 African boys, Guilherme, Luis, and Pedro. Mr. Gordon's reports of the hidden, gravely illegal transoceanic slave trade in Rio de Janeiro were published by the British Parliament. In these reports, we learn of heinous punishments doled out as they traveled across the ocean. These included extreme floggings that left bodies mutilated, body dismemberment, and partial strangulation before execution. These reports also contain the official deposition of Pedro and Guilherme, taken while aboard the U.S. frigate Raritan, by witness of George W. Gordon, Esquire, on February 1st of 1845. A frigate, I'll define that for you. A warship with a mixed armament, generally heavier than a destroyer in the U.S. Navy, and of a kind originally introduced for convoy work. Mr. Gordon and a translator interrogated the boys, and I quote, "First question, what is your name and how old are you?" Answer, "My name is Pedro. I'm 15 years old." 14th question, did Captain Paolo ever tell you to say that you were free in case anyone should ask you? Answer, yes. He told me that if any person should ask me to answer that I was free. 22nd question, do you now wish to go with Captain Paolo again? Answer, no, I have no such desire at all. 23rd question, where do you wish to go? Answer, I desire to be a free man and go to the United States. End quote. From The Record of George W.M. Gordon, The Slave Trade at Rio de Janeiro, Seizure of Slave Vessels, Conviction of Slave Dealers, Personal Liberation of Slaves and Company, Practices Against Theory. Imagine being a displaced boy, being interrogated by grown men, and firmly stating that you desire to be a free man in America. Young Pedro stood up for himself, and in doing so, created his own freedom. This testimony and trial are key factors that brought Pedro to New England and eventually to Maine, and the home that he found in the Parris family. Pedro lived with the Parris family until dying from pneumonia in 1860 at 27 years old. And Captain Cyrus Libby of Scarborough, who was tried in 1846, was acquitted by the First Circuit Court in Portland, Maine, and as a free man, moved away, becoming a school teacher. Think about that as you consider the state of Maine's unique Black history and as we create Maine's Black future. Connecting the state of Maine's rich Black history to Black changemakers weaving Maine's Black future today. Today, I'm talking to Junes Thete, also known as Junes Dream Seller, a visionary cinematographer and visual artist here in Maine. He has created music videos, commercials, and photographs. Also serving as a fashion consultant, Junes is becoming a man of influence in Maine's creative economy. He has worked with Brickyard Hollow Brewing, Makers of the U.S., Lone Pine Brewing, Piper Shores, Skowhegan Savings Bank, and Maine Medical Group. He has been an inspiration to me and others here. He came to the United States in the year 2012. So, Junes, I gotta ask, where are you from?
I'm originally from Congo, DRC. I was born in Kinshasa. That's where I'm from. The big Congo, as everybody says.
The big Congo. What do you mean, big Congo?
Well, we got two Congo. We got Congo Kinshasa. We got Congo Brazzaville, which is smaller compared to Kinshasa or DRC.
Okay, so you from DRC. One of the things that you had mentioned to me about where you're from, but I believe that you were yourself in the Congo during the first Congo War, like in 1997.
Yeah, that was the biggest war, I believe, that I've witnessed. Yeah, that was 1997, 1998.
One of the things that really struck me is that you heard actual gunfire from where you were.
Yeah, bro, it was scary.
Word.
Being a kid, and living in the capital, sometimes those things you just hear about it from far. I was a kid, man. It was stressful. You didn't know what was happening, really, because I was 7. I was 7 years old, but, I was scared because I was seeing my dad. My dad had to go to work because he was a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
As we say in America, essential worker.
Mm-hmm.
So he still had to go to work, and then he still had to find a way to still. All the stores was closed by. He was still going out and trying to bring some food home so we can eat. So it was a crazy time. It was a scary time. It was hard, but my dad was trying to stay on top of it and made sure that we had something to eat during the time.
Yeah, it's providing still. I'm curious why did your dad need to be why did he have to keep working through the war?
the doctor at the primary hospital, the biggest hospital in Congo. So he still had to report to work because they're bringing, the biggest name in the country. If they get shot or something like that, they need to get treated. And, somebody has to be there to keep them alive. So my dad has to go to work,
Yeah, I do. Wow.
Yeah.
So just for a second, I'm curious, what was it like being raised by your father?
Africa has its own story. My dad took me because I think they was not together with my mom at that time. Mm-hmm. And I think I was 3 years old. And my dad, because my mom wanted my dad to take me, so because my dad had the funds to provide for school and all that.
Got you.
So I had to go live with my dad. He was inspiring. I'm very proud of my dad because the way he kept the 10 of us, well, at that time, I think it was the 7 of us in the same house. And, he was at the same time our mom and dad cooking, taking us to school, providing and all that. I only had it was a good experience to me, I don't recall. The only thing I have in my mind is only like good memories, just seeing my dad striving and making sure we sit, we're good, we got food, we got school, we got we clean and all that. Like it was very inspiring to see a man just go through all that, and on top of that still have because he had to go spend the night at the hospital. I don't know,
like working overnight.
Yeah, overnight shift sometime because he was doing it like every other day or like couple times a week, and then still come in the morning and make sure that you guys get to school, and on top of all that, with 7 kids, that was, I give him a shout out for that.
Shout out. And I really respect and appreciate the reverence with which you speak about your father.
He always pushed me to be a better person. My dad inspired me. In so many ways, he's not perfect, but my experience with him was a strong man and somebody who wanted to keep people, not just us. We grew up with unknown people. He was literally taking people from the hospital because, let's say, a soldier was the hospital say, hey, this guy just came from war. We need to, his leg is bad, the wound is bad. We have to, I don't know, cut or whatever. He can help me, cut his one of the leg and stuff. And my dad was taking people like that from the hospital and bring them home and take care of them. And those people were living with us. We were literally living with stranger.
Sure.
And, just growing up with that, it was just trying to help people. And then when I came to America, it was like, well, you look good, but, I want you to work out and, get muscles and look, better, And then I remember he was going to, at that time he was working at IDEX.
Yeah.
And every time he went to work, when he was coming back from work, he was bringing those sheet with showing how people work out and stuff, showing exercises and stuff. He was like, yo, have this and, you can, I'll pay for the gym. Just go and do this. I want you to work out while you're here. So he pushed me, and I always tell the story because now he's a pastor.
Yeah.
And one time at church, he was like, oh, you have to, feed your soul with the word of God, like Junes feed his muscles with the gym. And look at him,
Yeah.
Like the word of God is like muscles. It's gonna give you, it's gonna give muscles to your soul and stuff.
Okay, all
and I
right.
was like, oh, okay, now he's using me, right? Like he's using me to tell a story because, whatever he brought and he saw the result and, because
Yeah.
I was consistent and just the way he always, until these days, he always pushed me to be better, and and that's why the mindset I have today is because of my dad. My dad taught me always to be positive.
Mm-hmm.
He taught me to say good things about me, about my life. He's like, you might not have anything for me, but always speak good things for you because whatever you say, it's going to happen. So
Yes.
the positive mindset, the attitude, really came, who I am today came from my dad,
Absolutely, man. No, shout out once again. They call you, amongst other things, Junes Dream Seller.
Yes.
And I'm curious, tell the people, man, why do they call you Dream Seller?
Yes. Actually, Congo is a French-speaking country. But for some reason, my friends, since I was in school, they used to call me Dream Chaser, Dream Seller. Since I was 16, since I was in high school, because they just saw the way I move, my mindset, and to me, it's not literally selling dreams. The way I see it is I sell motivation to people. I carry myself, it inspires other people. And that's why I call myself Dream Seller. My mindset. I like to share mindset with younger people or motivation. I like to motivate people. Why my friend saw it like, I'm like 33 now. And my friends saw it like a long time ago.
Yeah.
They knew, they're like, this guy is different. Like I remember even back when I was not even in high school, like I was like 7, I don't know what is it before high school, what is it?
Or middle school, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I think middle school, right? And I remember I was always the guy people talk about in the school. And then they were always choosing me to do poems and like acting or whatever they would do for like Christmas. They would always pick me to be the guy, So this started like back in the days, bro.
For sure. You be studying. I know you do. I know you do.
Bro, another thing I got from my dad, literally, guys, what my dad fed me. Like, he literally fed me who I am. He always tell me, if you're doing something, you only have 2 options. You either do it right or don't do it. There is nothing in between. So that's my mindset. That's what I go for. Some point in my life that, I sucked. I thought, I know I sucked because I'm better now.
Yeah, you can say it.
but every time, sometimes I was going home, I take a picture and I cry and I don't sleep. I'm like, why my picture doesn't look like this person? Why my pictures are just not, I felt like my picture was missing.
Right.
And then if, again, for other people listening to this, if you're in the same situation, just acknowledge first that you're not where you want to be to improve. Because sometimes you can take up a picture, you feel like, damn, like this is look good, but is that really where you are? Is that really what you want? Like, is that the result that you're expecting?
That level of honesty. Yeah. But I like that approach. It's still positive. You can be real with yourself. If sometimes you do something creatively and it sucks, right? It doesn't come out good. But I think honoring the fact that you can get better at it is kind of motivating, But you gotta be honest with yourself first.
Yeah, exactly. You have to be honest, as you said, with yourself. But again, going back to what my dad said, you only have two options, guys. You can either do it or don't do it. But when you do it right. Do it all the way, you know. Shout out to Alphine. I told her, I was like, hey, I know she was the previous guest.
Yeah. Alphine is dope.
Yeah,
Shout out Alphine.
Yeah, shout out to Alphine. I said, hey, listen, for what you do, make sure you do it all the way. Do it right. Do it right. Always, you know. Younger people or whoever is trying to get into production and stuff, you know, even making music. Make sure everything you're doing, make sure, I know in productions, always take your time, man. Even when taking pictures, you know, always look at the picture first, you know. I got pictures that I took, I remember one picture I took under the snow with one kid playing basketball. I don't know if you've seen that picture.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. And then, you know, I had an idea, but I was like, it's snowing, but how can we what angle can like the angle and how do I want the lighting to play? Like how? Because there's no light, there's no sun, it's snowing, but you know, but I took time, it was snowing, I was freezing. But again, I took like a couple minutes. I was like, well, I'd rather just take one shot, but a dope shot. Yeah, I believe that, you know, always taking time and make sure that what you create is the best of you. Like, you know, even in music, you can make an R&B beat, but you can just come up with a melody that's different. Something that's literally stand out, like that's literally, and because then it's gonna make all the lyrics, whatever, just make it a little bit, try harder, you know, go above and beyond.
Yeah.
That's how you say it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Junes, one thing I like to always dive into a little bit with my guests.
Yeah.
Our self-worth, your value, your worth is not related to anything outside of yourself. However, because of the different actions, behaviors, and things you've achieved and done, sometimes you get recognized or sometimes you get honored. Yeah. And so I just want to take a second here in front of everybody for you to highlight a couple times that your work or your talents have been honored and recognized.
I'm waiting for the bigger one.
Hey, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm waiting for the bigger one. But yeah, you know, everything that happens in life, you got to appreciate it. The first time I felt like, you know, people saw what I did and, you know, I felt like recognized, as you said. I was in school and I remember it was my last, you know, the last semester, you know, before graduation and stuff, you know, we had to do a peak project and because, by the way, I graduated at SMCC, shout out to SMCC, Communication and New Media.
Southern Maine Community College is a school that we know a lot of people that go through SMCC, as we call it. Junes happens to be one.
Everything is dope out there. We had you know, projects for school and stuff.
Okay.
And then I had to pick, you know, everybody picked something. You know, we had graphic designer and all that. You know, I wanted to be a director. I always wanted to be a director. So I picked to shoot a music video.
Mm-hmm.
I picked one artist that I was working with and I shot a music video. I had to present the music video people like a jury.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Well, I had to show what I did for my last project of school before graduation. When I showed the music video, they stayed quite a little bit. They watched it through, you know, and my dad was in the building.
Hey.
And they watched it because we were going one by one. So it was my turn and they watched my stuff. And then I was like, wow, well, I got people, they've been shooting here for years. I know I sucked. I'm not going to get an A. I think it's good, but I was waiting to hear feedback, you know.
Yeah, critique.
Yeah, critique. And then that time, man, I was standing and they start asking me questions. They're like, hey, talk a little bit about the artist and all that. I was like, hey, it's dope. I made the beats of the song.
Oh.
Literally made the beat from scratch.
Yes, sir.
I recorded the guy and, I did a decent mix and I shot the video. And then they were like, well, you talk to us about the process and stuff. So long story short, I told them, hey, I shot this, I lit this, I did lighting, I directed it, and I edited it. And they're like, okay. And then they're like, yo, I don't know, but if nobody told you this, but in America, we need more, like about 10 people to do what you did.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, really? They're like, man, this is impressive, man. That was...
Because they asked you who helped you, right?
Yeah. They asked, like, how many people was on set? Who helped you? Did you call, colleague, like people from my classmates and stuff? I'm like, no, I literally did it myself from producing, shooting, lighting, editing. And they were like, this is crazy. Like, we literally need a lot of people to do it, and then you did it by yourself, Ed. And for what we see here, man, this is amazing. And that day, having my dad in the building, that was the first time in America to see people being like, hey, man, you can do this, man, you dope.
Absolutely.
Did motivate me.
Yes.
To continue and be like, hey, I can do this.
It was validating.
Yeah, exactly. Being a kid from Africa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly, and just learning and then, but beside that, I had a couple stuff in town. We shot again with Crazy Jammer, something in Maine, and the music video we shot was by the blog. The music video was the best music video in town, in Maine. Man, like I was called me and said the music video is dope, and they a lot of people, they went through a lot of music video that was shot at that time in town, and then they think that our music video is the best music video in Maine.
All right.
And it was the artist, as I always say, the artist, Crazy Jeremy and when he did the video, he made sure to mention that, guys, I did this, but this guy was behind me.
Yeah.
And that just was like, this, we can take this far. I always tell people, every steps count. The little thing people say to you when they see your work, every feedback or whatever counts.
Yes.
And it just have be open to receive it. Either it can be like, oh, this show was good, but you can do better.
Yeah.
You take it. And if some people come and say you dope, you take it too. Be open. It makes it easy too. Be the guy. You can be dope, but be the guy who's open to feedback.
Yes.
And then that's how you're gonna improve. And it just makes people give you more feedback and believe in you. And guys, be open. Be open like Genius Black.
Hey, trying to be.
Like Junes Dream Seller.
Yeah,
I take feedback,
Yeah, man. And I mean, the proof is in the pudding, right? When you look at the videos and you watch what's going on, it looks good, it sounds good. You don't really need any proof beyond that. Talk to us a little bit about the Discover Me show.
I know everybody goes through this in Maine. Rapper, artist, painter, everybody. We all get that. Hey, man, what are you doing here? You dope, but what are you doing here, bro? You should go to South or New York or L.A., Atlanta, Chicago. It's not always, man. It's not, man. No, you can stay here. There's nothing here. So I got that a lot, but I was like, hey, men need us. Going back, I had a job with Maine Medical Center to shoot a video, and I let doctors and nurses, talk a little bit about why people, when they're done with school here, why they should stay in Maine.
Okay.
Because everybody, all the dope people, we lose people all the time, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Just doing that, it was back in 2017 when I did the video, the project.
Okay.
And then, I always tell myself, how can I help this situation?
Yes.
How can I highlight people and make people feel, valued or like recognized, or, give them the platform they see it in other states like LA, New York and stuff like that professionally. So, I had a chance. So I started a production company.
Why not?
White Nuts Productions.
Got you. Why not Productions?
I always wanted to start something in America because I still have the same thought for Africa. But since I live here, I wanted to, highlight people, make people, feel like, hey, we can stay in Maine and do this and still like people can know about us.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that, back in 2017, some of the seeds started. You were working, doing some stuff with a local hospital.
Yeah.
But again, some of that brain drain conversation, that conversation about why people do stay in Maine,
Yeah.
why, and you start to think about how you can apply some of your gifts and talents.
Yes.
Again, to highlight people, give them a platform so they can stay in Maine.
Yes.
When it comes to the Discover Me show, it's like a culmination of these different things.
Yes.
And I'm curious, give people an idea of what they might see on the Discover Me show.
Discover Me show is mainly for artists, especially how in America is a BIPOC or minority artists that don't have a platform, especially in Maine, to show what they do or talk about their story or talk about them, in a professional way.
Exactly.
So that's what Discover Me show. If you're on IG or Instagram or YouTube, you can look it up. Discover Me show. Yeah, that's what you're gonna see. You're gonna see a lot of artists that doing greatness here, great things in Maine, and you're gonna hear their story visually and see what they do in live. Like everything is done live. If we got a couple artists and painters, they did everything live for us to show how dope they are. My job is to make sure we capture everything professionally, and we say, hey, we here in Maine and we do this. It's not always in LA. It's not always in New York. We dope out here in Maine.
Yes, bro. People know that there's folks like you, for instance, Junes, here in Maine, operating at a very high level of videography and editing and all these different things that surround that world. The reason you want to go to New York or Atlanta is because you feel like you're going to have access to more talent, better gear, whatever. You might get discovered or whatever.
Yes.
But the whole point that you kept bringing it back to is like, why do you think you have to go there? You can do that here.
Exactly.
So for me, and that really resonates with me, multiple businesses that I've been part of, different projects I've been part of, it has everything to do with celebrating the Black and brown people and just Maine people that are here in Maine and that are rugged and that are living through all types of things while still creating it at high levels. I found the idea very inspiring, and for any of the content I've seen, I've also been very inspired.
We launching the show on YouTube by the latest is August, but I'm gonna ask people to subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow Discover Me Show on IG, Instagram, on YouTube. Discover Me Show. We have had dope people. We had Ryan Adams. He always say the first time I saw his work, and
he's a dope visual artist.
Man, that guy he's the guy. I never seen anything like what he does.
Yeah, I've stared at some of those paintings for so long.
Ryan Adams, shout out to you. And, we capture Alex Bukasa as well. Those are, and Crazy Jammer.
Hey.
Yeah. So, get on the page, subscribe. They have story. They have talent to show. Help us, by just subscribing. Absolutely. And then we're going to do the rest. The visual is dope. The story is dope. The art is dope.
One of the questions that I always want to ask, considering some of the people that, me and and what we see bubbling out in our community, when we say Maine's Black future, I want to know, Junes, Mr. Dream Seller himself.
Yes,
What
sir.
do you think and what do you feel for Maine's Black future?
I don't know if it's just social media or the city but something's changing right now in the state of Maine. We see more and more Black artists, and from, if I look back into where we are right now, it is getting better every day. And I think that it's going to get better and dope, as you like. Yeah, I like when you said dope.
Yeah, dope.
Yeah. So I believe that we're doing an amazing job.
Mm-hmm.
And, we don't speak so much about it, but people see it.
Yeah.
You go on the street, you see Ryan work everywhere.
Yeah.
We just want more Black artists on the radio station, in local station. Give us a chance. We got talent. Don't always play music from LA. We out here too. Yeah, we out
Facts.
here. Yeah, and I really believe that the future is brighter than what I see right now, and we're striving, and we're different, and I see it still growing, and I believe we're still we're going to make more impact in Maine. Yes.
All that resonates with me, and I think about how you're saying it's quiet. You see it. You see some of the Black artists and talented writers, artists, visual artists, musicians. You see it more. Things are more organized. But there's this whole quiet wave to what's going on right now.
Yes.
Things are getting more organized, and
Yes.
people are getting more polished.
Yes.
You're just hearing their project that they did a year and a half ago.
Yes.
But right now, they're working on a new project.
Exactly.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
So I really appreciate you shouting that out. And honestly, as much as we promote and market, there's a very quiet element to what is happening.
Yeah.
And in respect to all of that, I'm going to wrap up the conversation. I really have had a great time. I appreciate you, bro.
Yes. Thanks for having me.
Can you just say out loud what your Instagram is and then the YouTube one more time?
All right. Guys, I need you guys. I need you. Help me help other people. We need whoever's listening to us today. We need you guys. So my IG is my director. I'm a director. My IG is Junes Dream Seller. And my production company is White Nuts Productions. You can find it on IG and Facebook, YouTube, and I'm also a consultant for fashion. I'm just plugging myself right now.
Apparently, I be seeing him. I believe you. I believe you.
I believe that we can do so much. Don't feel like you can't do whatever you want to do, guys.
Yeah.
If you want to do fashion, direct, take pictures, whatever you want to do, man, we have the ability to do whatever you want to do. I always say we use like 10% of our brain. We have more room to learn, to apply, and, to get better at it.
See, that's why I bring the homie Junes to the podcast. Again, my name is Genius Black. If you want to follow up on me, My main account that I use probably most is Real Genius Black, RealGeniusBlack. That's on Instagram. Also, you want to check me out. A lot of the production that you hear on this podcast is provided by Gem City, Maine. So if you're on Instagram, GEM, like a gemstone, Gem City, Maine. Follow and check out that IG account.
Please follow Discover Me Show on IG and YouTube. Subscribe to see dope artists and how we're doing and how we're changing things.
That's what I'm here to do. My goal is to provide gateway and for you to be able to see, sense, and feel what's happening as Maine moves into its next era of being Maine, but also the Black part of Maine and what we are creating, which I think is beautiful. Again, I say it's part of overall Maine. They also be calling him the genius because he is. Junes the genius and Genius Black.
Yes, sir.
And y'all have been listening to Maine's Black Future.
Thank you.